After waiting so long, fans were finally treated to Squid Game Season 3, and while some loved the intensity and new revelations, others walked away confused, heartbroken, or just plain disappointed. One of the biggest reasons, the long-anticipated confrontation between Jun-ho and the frontman, his brother In-ho, did not play out the way many viewers expected. Instead of a dramatic, emotional, or even violent showdown, what we got felt more like an unfinished chapter. And now, fans are totally split on whether the ending worked or fell flat. For many, the story of Jun-ho and In-ho has been one of the most compelling parts of the Squid Game series. These two brothers were tragically torn apart. Jun-ho thought In-ho was dead, only to later discover that his sibling had not only survived but become a key player behind the twisted games. Their tragic backstory had so much potential to come full circle in Season 3. But instead, what we got was a rushed and emotionally unsatisfying ending that didn't allow either of them to truly speak their minds. Let's rewind a bit. Back in Season 1, we saw Jun-ho going undercover to find out what happened to his missing brother. That's when the bombshell dropped. His brother In-ho was alive and had become the ruthless front man. After In-ho shot Jun-ho and left him for dead, but also ensured he got medical help, viewers were sure a face-off was coming. And Season 2 built that hope even more, especially as we learned how In-ho had once donated a kidney to Jun-ho, and how much emotional baggage still existed between them. Then came Season 3. Most of Jun-ho's journey this season was him following vague leads, and trying to understand the deeper secrets of the Squid Game operation. All this build-up led to the final episode, where he finally reaches the game's hidden location. The moment is tense. Jun-ho raises his gun and points it at In-ho, who's about to escape with Jun-hee's baby. Everyone watching probably held their breath, waiting for some dramatic exchange, some big truth bomb, or at least a meaningful line. But no, there was no conversation, no tears, no big showdown, just hesitation. Jun-ho couldn't pull the trigger. And In-ho, sensing that his brother couldn't kill him, walks away again, leaving behind even more questions than answers. It was an emotional moment, sure, but it also left fans feeling deeply unsatisfied. After everything these two had been through, all we got was a stare and silence? Of course, some fans defended the scene. They argued that the silence between the brothers was powerful, that it reflected their broken relationship, their unspoken pain. Others, though, felt cheated. For a show that had spent so much time digging into their complex history, the decision to not give them a final heart-to-heart or some form of resolution felt like a major missed opportunity. The show did try to add a small sense of closure. In-ho left the baby with Jun-ho, along with the baby's prize money. This gesture showed that In-ho, despite everything, still trusted his brother and believed he could raise the child better than anyone else. It was a quiet act of redemption, or maybe just guilt, but it didn't really fix the emotional gap that had been widening between them since Season 1. A lot of fans have been saying that the unresolved nature of their relationship weakens the emotional investment we've built over the past 3 seasons. And they're not wrong. After all the flashbacks, reveals, and near-death moments, we were expecting something more impactful. Some fans even compared it to watching a long movie, only to realize the final 15 minutes were cut off. That's how it felt. Incomplete. But while the Jun-ho and In-ho storyline might have disappointed some, it did open the door to something bigger. In-ho's past is still full of unanswered questions. Why did he enter the games in the first place? What happened immediately after he won? How did he transform from a desperate player to the cold, calculating frontman? And what really happened to his wife? The show gave us a peek into some of these moments, like the time Il-nam tempted In-ho with a knife to take out his final opponent, but there's still so much more to explore. The way the show handled In-ho's past suggests that his story isn't over yet. In fact, many fans are already hoping for a frontman spin-off. A series that dives into his rise through the Squid Game system could not only answer the questions left hanging in Season 3, but also give viewers a deeper understanding of one of the franchise's most mysterious characters. One thing's clear. The Jun-ho and In-ho arc could have been the emotional heart of Squid Game Season 3. But instead it ended up being a quiet side note. That doesn't mean it wasn't meaningful, it just wasn't enough. And in a show that's known for its intense emotions, sharp storytelling, and unforgettable moments, that's a bit of a letdown. Still, the ambiguity of their final moment might have been the point. Maybe the creators wanted to reflect how in real life, not all wounds heal. Not every relationship gets closure. Sometimes people just drift apart, even when they desperately want to reconnect. And maybe that's why this moment hit fans so differently. For some, it was realistic. For others, it was frustrating. In the end, Squid Game Season 3 dared to take a quiet path with two of its most important characters. It didn't offer explosive closure or dramatic goodbyes. It gave us a gun not fired, a child passed on, and a stare full of meaning left unexplained. That's why fans are divided. And that's why the story of Jun-ho and In-ho might not be over just yet. Here's hoping that Netflix gives us more. Whether that's a Season 4, a frontman spin-off, or even a movie that finally ties up these loose ends. Because fans still care deeply about these two brothers. And they deserve a real ending.